Welcome back to another live stream. How is everyone doing? It's Thursday night. I got quite a few updates for you guys, but as usual, before we dive in too far, just want to make sure that everything is working fine, that you can see this video stream okay, that the microphone is working, put it a bit nearer to my mouth, there's no audio problems, you can hear me fine, there's no echo or distortion or anything. We have had some issues quite recently with the microphone and everything, so just want to make sure that everything is okay before we start. So while waiting, I'll have some coffee. Kevin, this is not your coffee. This is still instant coffee. If you're watching, I've been so busy recently, but I'll get to your coffee, your good stuff, the AeroPress very, very soon. All right. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Yumi, for letting me know. Thanks, this side to the screen. As usual, I'll say hi to people first before we jump into the topic. Let me adjust this light. Okay. So, if you are a member, your name will be highlighted in green, and you have a star badge next to your name. Then I'll prioritize the responses to your chat. But if you're not a member, don't worry, you just have to wait for a little bit. I'll get to every single one. I never miss any chats in my past streams, alright? I'll get to every single one. You just have to wait a little bit. So, yeah. Kevin says, afternoon, Robin. Good afternoon to you. I'm guessing that you're back in the UK already. Myself and Kevin, we had a chance to catch up, I think 2 weeks ago in KLCC. Had some coffee. Yeah. Kevin says, everyone seems to want a pen. I love my EP09. Very capable camera. Yes. I think pen is meant to be so small, and yet so capable. And I think it does represent the spirit of Micro Four Thirds. Tiny cameras, yet big performance, right? So I just don't understand why they don't continue making a new refresh of the Pen series cameras. Andrew says, good evening, Robin. All good, video good, audio good, LED lights all charged. Yeah, I did make sure that I charged my LED lights. Let me see, I said 100%. So hopefully everything is okay. Tomato says, good evening, Robin and all. Good evening to you too, Tomato. I mean, coming back to Andrew's comment, why I was talking about this was because last week, was it on Monday? I can't remember which of the live streams my LED lights died. It wasn't the public stream, it was a members only live stream. And I think it was last Monday, right? A few days ago. So after the Thursday stream last week, I thought I charged all the lights, but I did not. So it didn't last an hour and the lights died. So it was really funny. So yeah, Chris says, hey Robin everyone, a nice afternoon here in Isle of Wight, UK. Taken lots of photos of the new bears recently. Wow. And yeah, okay, good sound and vision here. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. No worries on the coffee. I got an instant. It's very convenient. Yeah, I've been running around a lot, and I'll be traveling starting tomorrow. I'll disappear from Kuala Lumpur for 2 weeks. That's why I have to tie a lot of loose ends. I'll tell you guys what's happening, where I'm going, and everything. That's why I have to do a lot of things before I go off. And I just came back like an hour ago, and I have to rush to set up all this, the lights, the microphone, test everything, make sure that everything is okay, right? Christoph? Is that how I pronounce your name? Sorry if I got it wrong, Christoph. Hey Robin, greetings from Poland. I love your enthusiasm. Your videos are great to watch. I have the EMR Mark II since April this year. I definitely won't sell it as long as you run a channel with Micro Four Thirds. Yeah, thanks for the support. Thanks for the kind words. And I still love my EMR Mark II. It's my main workhorse camera even now in the year 2025. I've been using it for the past 6 years or so. 5 or 6 years as my main camera. And It's never failed me. It's always delivered great results. It's so reliable, and I just simply love the camera. Yeah. Right, let's get to the non-members chat. Sorry, I don't know what this means, Giovanni, but hello. Chuck says, the EP7 is pretty great. I love mine. I do wish I could attach an electronic viewfinder. I understand that a lot of people love the EP7, but it's not available in Malaysia, and it's not available in most parts of the world. Only certain parts of the world the EP7 is sold. So, as amazing as it is, I have no access to that camera. Yeah. Kevin says, I would like to see a more video-centric camera, a modern Olympus pen line that fits the bill. An Olympus VP, video pen, if you will. Yeah, I think somehow video has always been at the back Backbench, it has never been a priority for Olympus and now the OM Digital Solutions. Back then, when I worked for Olympus, their excuse was they did not have the expertise to make video, to do video stuff, right? Unlike Sony and Panasonic, or even Canon, they have cinema line cameras. Sony and Panasonic are involved in broadcasting. Sony is involved in motion pictures. They're making movies, right? And Panasonic they technically invented the VHS tapes as well as the or was it JVC? Sorry, I could have gotten my facts wrong. They also contributed to the invention of DVDs. They make televisions. So Sony and Panasonic, they are big players of the DVD television world. So video is a huge part of their technical knowledge. So not having this expertise like Sony, Panasonic, Canon, it puts Olympus at a disadvantage. It's very hard for them to source all this technology, so they will always be behind when it comes to video. But I think there's only so much you can give as an excuse, right? Like if you want to catch up, you catch up. You do something to make it better, right? So I don't think it's a valid excuse anymore. Yes, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they were behind, but I think they can do a lot better to catch up. Yeah. Let's see. Jeff says, "Hey Robin, everyone. Hey Jeff, how are you? Nice to see you. Thanks Jerry. Thanks Jeff. Thanks Decide Towards the Screen for the update. Thanks Yumi for letting me know. Thanks Sisters Bedmesser. Naturebird says, "Hey Robin, hey Naturebirds, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. How are you?" Jerry says, "Hi from rainy and windy Finland, 14 degrees. Yesterday we had 23. Well, it is 28 degrees in my room. So yeah, in terms of heat, I still win." Naturebird says, "I think the next camera OM system should make is the update of the EM10 series." Yes, I also think so. They need like a replacement for the entry-level, budget-friendly camera, right? Something that is below $1,000 US. Currently, the OM5 Mark II is priced at $1,200. Was it $1,200 US? So something that's below 1,000, maybe 899 or 999, that would be great. Yeah, and yet it offers great results. Sorry, I really don't know what you're talking about. As much as I would love to comment. So Pete says, "Hi Robin, hey Pete, how are you?" Chris Raffin says, "Maybe they don't continue the pen line because they have the ability with their limited resources to make tiny cameras with the new technology." Ability? I think that they already have the technology, right? Like they don't need new technology to make it. Yeah. Chuck says, "Imported my EP7 from Map Camera in Japan." Yeah, nah, here you have to pay import taxes, you have to pay all kinds of weird custom duty and everything. And at the end of the day, it's double the price of the camera already in Malaysia. So it's really not worth it. Andrew says, "OM should just continue on with the pen since there is a history or legacy behind it, like how Fuji benefits from their own film simulation strengths. I feel it's a missed opportunity for OM." Yeah, it's kind of strange, right? It's not like it will take a lot for them to create a new line. It's an existing line. They just have to continue it and maybe update some new features on the pen cameras. Maybe put in the 3.5mm microphone jack. Obviously, that's missing. If you want to make it vlogger friendly, then it has to have a swivel screen, unfortunately, although I do prefer tilt screen for street photography. Updated video features like 4K, put in the 5-axis mesh stabilization, as well as face detection autofocus for better autofocus, right? So yeah. Hey Rippy, how are you? Rippy saying, "Good evening Robin, have a great trip to China. Thank you so much." I'll talk about the trip soon when I update everyone. Learning by Building says Olympus Pen F. Nah, if they wanted to release a Pen F, they would have released by now. But yeah, I think that will be a popular by demand, right? Like I think it will go viral if they actually release a Pen F Mark II. Edwin says, "Hey Robin, everyone, remember me? I'm the guy who asked you permission to use the shutter therapy term for my PhD thesis. Big fan always. On the other hand, wishing the Pen F Mark II ASAP." Hey, of course I remember. There were two people asking me to use my content, or whether my YouTube or blog, on their research. So you're one of them. So Edwin, is there a chance for me to have access to your thesis? I would like to read it. Yeah, that would be fun. I would love to get into your research and see about how like photography helped in was it psychology or something? Right, yeah. Pete says, I think for me it's a new sensor that needed just to stay up with the current market. Yeah, I think it's not as simple as that. Just having a new sensor is not enough at this moment. There are a lot of things that the consumers are asking for, right? So yeah. Estrom says, good afternoon from Iceland. Hey Estrom, how are you? Jerry says, I want a new pan camera with a 20 megapixel sensor, 5-axis image stabilization, size as compact as possible. But is that enough though? I think like just because it has 5-axis IS and a new sensor, that's not enough, right? Like if you want to make it into a vlogging camera, then it has to have a swivel screen, then it has to have a microphone input, which the pan camera is sorely lacking, right? It's like, what's with that? Why don't you have the microphone input, which I never understood for the many years of Olympus making EPL 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right? Like at least I would expect by EPL 7 or 8, they would have included a microphone input already. Yeah, Jukate says, any camera that's actually updated for the year 2025, 26? Okay. Esram says, EP7 with the tilt up and on the screen would work for bloggers. Up and down? Not really. If you tilt down, then you can't attach the camera on a tripod. And I need to use my tripod for my talking head. Even now, on the live stream, like, I can't tilt the screen down. The tripod will block it, right? Like, I need tripod for this live stream. Then by putting it flip down, it's just not going to work. Yeah. Frog says, I want a new pan. Yeah, same here. Same. I think a lot of people here has voiced up that I think the new pan is one of the popular choices. NJP says, I love my old EPL and will buy a brand new camera if they made a new EP or EPL with a built-in EVF. I think asking for something like a Pan F, right? Yeah. Jeff says, shame on system couldn't retain the Olympus name of their cameras. I think moving forward, Olympus also wanted to, or both companies wanted to distance themselves from each other. It's like, I think there's a sting that comes with the brand Olympus because they kind of betrayed the camera loyalty, right? Like, a lot of people are loyal to them for decades. They've been using Olympus since the film era. They've been supporting Olympus for decades. And they just turn their back around and say, nope, we are carving out the business. We are kicking out. We are throwing this business, imaging business, away. We don't care about this business anymore. So, and that was Olympus' fault. That was Olympus' decision, although it's like technically the shareholders. But as a company, it seems like they gave up on the camera. So for OM System not to associate themselves with the brand Olympus, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I know Olympus brings a lot of good memories, a lot of fun memories, like, you know, the success stories during the glorious days, but still, like, whenever I think of Olympus, I think of the failure, I think of them turning their back to the community. I think of them, Olympus, betraying me, right? So yeah, so maybe a new brand is better. I know that OM System may not sound the best. It's not the best sounding brand out there, but I can understand why they want to distance themselves away from the brand Olympus. Yeah. Let me just get to a few more members chat and then we'll start with the updates of what's happening in my life. Andrew says, if people are willing to fork over 3,000 ringgit for the S-half 1-inch, I don't see why OM can't consider the next line of pen. What makes you think people are willing to fork over 3,000 ringgit? I only know one friend who bought it. How many friends of yours have bought the S-half? That plastic rubbish. Then the guitar man says, hey all, join late. Hey, this is not late. We are just 30 minutes into the stream. I would love to see them do newer Micro Four Thirds sensor size version of the Z1, made for simple photography with color curve and film simulations. I think compact camera can make a comeback. That's something that I want to talk about. Maybe I'm not really talking about it next week, but I have a compact camera video coming out next week. But I think there's a chance for compact camera to make a comeback, but they need to play it very wisely. Micro Four Thirds sensor will be great. I'm not complaining, but I think a more feasible option would be 1-inch type image sensor. They'll make more sense to keep things really small, really compact. Something like the Sony RX100, but make it like really modern, really sleek, with all the latest technology, with the power stabilization, maybe even weather sealing. That would be great, right? But Micro Four Thirds, something like the LX100, I understand, but like to keep it really compact, because LX100 is not really that compact, if you ask me. If you want to keep it really small, really compact, I think 1-inch sensor is a better solution. Dan says, or maybe a digital version of X81. Yeah, we talked about that before, right? Such a great camera, it's super popular. Why not capitalize on that? It seems like OM System is not really listening to the market. They're not studying the trends of what people are interested in or what people want to buy. And it seems like they just want to do their own thing. And it's kind of sad in a way, right? It's like, why don't you want to make money? Why don't you want to tap into the market? Why won't you listen to your customers, right? So, all right, with this Dan's chat comment, I'll put a pause on the chat. Let me just start with giving some updates of my life. But let me drink some coffee first. Coffee. Okay. Where do we start? I have a few things to talk about. Okay, starting with Kolomi. The reason why this light box is displaying Kolomi is because tomorrow I'm flying home to Kuching, and Kolomi is a special dish in Sarawak. Can only be found in Sarawak. I know that we have Kolomi here in Kuala Lumpur and other states outside of Sarawak, but trust me, they don't taste the same. If you want really good Kolomi, you have to fly to Sarawak, you have to fly to Kuching to taste what a real Kolomi is. So let me show you how it looks like. So this is Kolomi. This is with extra condiments. Technically, Kolomi is just a dry pork noodle. It has pork lard, shallot oil or red onion oil, I think garlic, and sometimes peanut oil can be used as well. Depends on how the person who cooks it prepares for the taste. It's topped with minced pork, with sliced barbecued pork, and sometimes other stuff like vegetables, spring onions, as well as wonton or dumplings. In this case, it's quite special because I added on the dumplings. It's extra add-ons. Right, so it's my favorite dish in Kuching. Every time I go home, I always order Kolomi. And I think every Sarawakian will love Kolomi, and we will agree that we cannot find a good Kolomi here in Kuala Lumpur. So I can't wait to go home tomorrow for Kolomi. And yeah, there are so many different versions, different shops selling Kolomi, and they all bring their different flavors and different variations. And it's just something that you can eat for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or in between meals, snacks for afternoon tea, or even supper after dinner. And yes, we Malaysians eat at least 5 meals per day. I'm not joking, 5 meals per day. Explains my size, right? It's another bowl of Kolomi for you guys. And generally, there are 2 variations of Kolomi, the white and the red ones. The white ones are just plain, as you can see, plain yellow noodles. And then there's a red version where they cover the noodles, and they mix it with the barbecue oil. The same oil that drip from the process of barbecuing the pork. The meat. So you can see the pork slices, it has red coatings, right? So it's the same oil that drips from it. They collect the oil and then they drizzle it on the noodles and they mix everything together. It gives you that very oily, very thick, very sweet taste, which is amazing. Very unhealthy, very high in cholesterol, salt, and all the horrible stuff that's not good for your health. But it's so good. I can't wait to go home and eat this. Right, so I will disappear for about 2 weeks. So tomorrow I'm flying home to Kuching. I'll be away from Kuala Lumpur. And then next week I'll be flying to China with Mom. Well, technically I'm flying home to Kuching is because Mom's birthday is coming. So I want to celebrate my mom's birthday together with her in Kuching. Mom is in Kuching. And I'm going with her on a trip to China, specifically Hainan Island. We are following the trip with the church friends. My mom's church friends is the Kuching Anglican Senior Fellowship. So there'll be like 40 of us traveling together to China for about 5 to 6 days. We'll be there. And then I will only be coming back to Kuala Lumpur in the middle of this month. I think it will be 15th of July. So that's about 2 weeks from now. So obviously I'll be gone for the entire of the next week, starting tomorrow. And there'll be no live stream next week. However, there are some interesting things that will happen next week, although I'm away. There's one very big announcement. So I promised my members, I'm not sure if Kevin saw this in last members on the live stream, but I'm sure Andrew heard this. Andrew, I'm sure you remember this on Monday. I said that this announcement will happen on Monday. I was wrong. The announcement will happen on Tuesday. We have changed it, and because it involves multiple parties, I can't make this announcement members first. I can't put it earlier, like 24 hours earlier, like all my other videos. It will be in the form of video announcement. It'll be on Tuesday. This is a secret project that I've been working on for the past several weeks. I've been running around, doing a lot of work, meeting a lot of people, dealing with different parties, securing deals and everything, making things happen, and even I was running around to collect footages to make this one announcement video. You understand when you see it, which will happen on Tuesday. So this announcement, I'm really excited about this. It's a very big project, a very big undertaking. Myself and a few friends, we are making this happen. So I can't wait to announce it on Tuesday. So keep getting it out on a Tuesday, next Tuesday, for this huge announcement. Next week, outside of this announcement, I'll release 2 videos instead of 1, the weekly videos, because we don't have the live stream, right? So I replace it with just a normal video. So 1 new video on Monday and 1 new video on Thursday. Later on in this live stream, you'll have a preview of the images that I'll be using for Monday's video. It's a lens. It's technically like a lens mini review. So we'll talk about that a little bit later when we see the photographs. No photos, no talk, right? That's what this channel is all about. So just a quick recap. I'll be away from Kuala Lumpur. I'll be going to Kuching, and I'll be going to China for a holiday with Mom. I'll be gone for 2 weeks. No live stream next week, but there's a huge announcement next Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Okay. Let me see. There's something else I have to say. Yeah, this is a new camera story I want to talk about. Yes, I want to talk about Benjamin Chappell. This is very important. Yesterday morning, I woke up and then I turned on my computer and I saw a notification on my YouTube, new video from Benjamin, updates on his battle with cancer. So Benjamin, who is an amazing content creator and photographer, he's been making content on YouTube about astrophotography. Also, he's using Micro Four Thirds to shoot the night sky and deep sky, which is amazing, something that I probably is a bit too technical for me and too difficult for me to do. I've been following him for so many years. I think he's a fantastic person. He's got some really useful tips and tricks videos. He shares a lot on his YouTube. I think his content benefits the community a lot. He's a very generous person. I think overall he's just a great guy. He's battling cancer. He's been fighting cancer for years now. I think it's coming to 3 years according to his latest video, 2.5 years or 3 years. I could be wrong here. And don't quote me. So he's been battling cancer for a long time, and his latest video's title does not sound very good. So here's the title you can see on the screen. I may have only 3 months left to live. Astrophotographer fights on. So things got really complicated. I don't want to repeat what he says in this video. So there's a link on his video that I've pinned on this comment. So if you see this chat section, here is the pinned comment. Yeah, this is the pinned comment here. So if you want to find out what happened to him, what's his latest status, what's updates on his battle with cancer and everything, the summary is that it's not looking too good, right? It's not looking too good. So the wife has started a new GoFundMe page. The link is on his video. And he's asking for contributions. So if you can support, please go to Ben's YouTube channel as well as the GoFundMe page and contribute whatever you can. So for tonight, for this session, don't send anything to me. Please direct your resources or funds to Benjamin. I think he needs it a lot more than I do. Battling cancer is not cheap, right? I think we all know how serious this can be. So he needs your support. I think I'm not sure if you've come across Ben or his content. I find that his content is extremely useful. I think that he's an extremely talented photographer as well. I can definitely benefit from his future contents. I want him to survive. And Benjamin, if you're watching this, I'm rooting for you. Fight on. And I want to see all your future videos. Like, please don't give up. Please continue fighting. You got this, right? All of us, we are with you, and you have our prayers with you. So guys, please support Benjamin. Send your contributions to his GoFundMe page. Go to his YouTube channel. If you can't contribute, that's fine. I understand not all of us are in the same financial position. Some of us are struggling ourselves. If you can't contribute, at least give him some words of encouragement. Type something positive on his YouTube channel. Trust me, in difficult times, this little glimmer of hope, this little light, shining of light from the comments, these positive remarks, it can go a long way, trust me. So please do take some time off, go and see his video. It's not very long. Give him a little bit of support, show him some love. He really needs this. All right, so let's us all collectively just show our support to this amazing content creator and Micro Four Thirds supporter as well. All right, moving on, we have a new camera store in Kuala Lumpur. N4 Camera has just opened a new store in my town shopping mall, which is IKEA in Cheras, or IKEA. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it IKEA or IKEA? And what happened was on Tuesday, I was at my town to do something. Totally unrelated. And I bumped into the boss. So the boss, or the N4 Camera, is actually from Penang, which is like 5 hours drive away. I was like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, why are you in this, my town? I don't remember having any like events or anything happening here. He said, oh, we are setting up a new store upstairs. We're opening tomorrow, which is yesterday, right? So I saw him on Tuesday. So yesterday was the opening day. So I told him, okay, I won't bother you today because they're all busy setting up and everything. So there's a lot to do. But I told him I will visit tomorrow, which was yesterday. Right? I told him on Tuesday I'll visit tomorrow. So yesterday I had to keep my word. I went and see them, met them in person. And this is not my photograph, by the way. I stole this from their Facebook page. I did not take any photographs. I just went there, say hi, give them my congratulations, and and connect, because I haven't seen the boss of this camera store in a long time. So a little bit of history. I was involved with this retailer many years ago when I worked for Olympus. They were one of the largest supporters for Olympus. They were the largest retailer selling Olympus cameras in Malaysia at one time. And so I, as a product specialist working for Olympus Malaysia, in an official capacity, I went over to Penang and I conducted product trainings for the staff of the camera stores. They have so many stores, dozens of stores. So I visited all of the stores and give them training, tell them like what's the special points on Olympus cameras and lenses, how do you talk to customers and things like that, to get them to understand the products a little bit better. So that was my role. So they were very familiar with me. They remember me from my days, and of course I still continue to support Olympus OM system even after I've quit the company. And even today I'm seen as someone in the industry that wants to help and move the sales of the cameras of any retailers. So I show myself as a supporter to the industry. So we had a lot to catch up, because I haven't seen the boss in a long time, at least more than 1 year. The last time I saw him was last year during a separate camera event. So we had a lot to catch up on. It's nice to see him expand, open a new shop. Just to show you a few more. So if you are in my town, go to N4 Camera, check it out. They have another store in Petaling Jaya in Geospace, and that's the store which I used, and they were very generous for me to use this store to film some of my content. The OM system OM3 video, my hands-on video of the OM3, was filmed inside the N4 camera in Geospace. And not only that, I think there was a Fuji X100 Mark 6. There was a most of my Fuji videos were filmed there. Fuji SM5 and Fuji XT50. They were all filmed there as well. And together with the OM system OM3, it was filmed there. Also, I did a Panasonic S9 video there. So they were so generous to allow me to use the space and loan me the cameras and lenses to do whatever I wanted in the shop. So yeah, now that they open a new branch or an outlet in my town shopping mall, so I'm very happy for them to see them expand and grow. I only wish them all the best, and hopefully they'll do really well selling cameras and lenses there. All right, there's another photo of the inside of the shop. I think these is like final touches before they open the shop to everyone, to public. Okay, what other things do I have to tell you guys? Let me think. So I've covered me going away for 2 weeks. No live stream next week. There's a special announcement on Tuesday. Right. I've talked about Benjamin Chappell, and please support him. He's battling cancer. And I've talked about the new camera store. I think that's pretty much it. All right, that's pretty much it. Okay, let me see how many comments we have. I think I should get to some of the comments before we dive into the topic, before the comments spiral out of control. All right, let's drink some coffee and get to the chat. Andrew says, "Hiya Robin, why are you showing Kolomi?" Hungry for no reason. Because people will say like, "What the hell is Kolomi?" Right? So like, okay lah, this time let's just download some old photographs that I have to show what Kolomi is, right? Yeah, and it's a good segue to say that I'm going to Kuching, don't you think? Kevin says, OM do have compact TG. Yes, but TG7 is just another one of those weird cameras that will just sell. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to market. They don't have to do anything at all. The camera just fly off the shelves. So there's very little push for them to improve the technology in the TG series. It will just fly, right? So yeah. Jordan says, I feel developing a modern pen light would be the perfect time to introduce a new sensor similar to the G9 Mark II. This camera would not have to be weather sealed or have a fast stack sensor. I don't think OM Digital Solutions will introduce a low-level cameras that has better or newer image sensor than their flagship cameras. I don't think that's how it works. Whenever a new sensor or a new processor is introduced, it will always be the top level or at least one level below. Like maybe OM3 will have a new sensor, OM3 Mark II, I'm not surprised, or OM1, the next OM1 refresh, right? So yeah. Kevin says maybe OM could try making a fixed lens compact like a modern equal to the Lumix LS100. I'm not aware that they have made such a camera with the Micro Four Thirds sensor. It's also a cautionary tale. The Lumix LS100 was not exactly a success. It wasn't a big hit, although I think it would have worked. I don't understand why, but after trying the camera, I can see why the camera didn't take off. There were so many problems with the LS100. The lens wasn't great. It was quite soft, although it's fast. And then it's not like a full Micro Four Thirds sensor. It was cropped. That doesn't inspire confidence, right? Because Micro Four Thirds sensor is not that large to begin with, compared to like full frame and APS-C. And then the camera's JPEG is weird. It has some really weird color. Not just JPEG, even RAW. It just gives very, very weird colors. I think this is not just LS100's problem, but general Panasonic issue. And then the screen is really bad. Like when I take a photograph and I zoom in to check the sharpness or whether the photo is in focus, it's always blur. Like I can't judge whether the image is sharp or not. Whereas in Olympus screen, it's easy. I can see very clearly whether it's sharp or not. But Panasonic is always an off chance. I thought it was sharp, and I look at my computer screen, it's not sharp. There's something wrong with the screen. And not to forget, the Artisan viewfinder is horrible. And then the image stabilization is completely useless. There's just so many problems with the camera. Like if you really pick it apart, it's like on paper it has Micro Four Thirds sensor. It has f1.8 lens. It's so small, so compact. It has built-in electronic viewfinder. It has image stabilization, but none of them are great. Horrible viewfinder, useless image stabilization. The lens is mid-occur. It's not a great lens to begin with, and the sensor is cropped. It's like there are just too many compromises with the LS100, so that's why it wasn't very successful. Or else, like imagine if they use the full sensor size, if they put in a really sharp lens on the camera, great electronic viewfinder, really great screen, 5-axis image stabilization, weather sealing. I think the LS100 would have flown off the shelves already. It would have been a massive hit in the market and cutting into even full frame territory, right? But I don't know why Panasonic cut so much corners. And the original LS100 was not cheap. It was quite expensive. It was a very pricey product. A lot of people would rather get like EPL series camera or EM5 or EM10, maybe EM10, because it's not weather sealed, with a lens or two, and still cheaper than S100. And honestly, it's not that much larger as well. You don't have to change lens and blah blah blah, but then the lens is not great. If it's a great lens, of course I'm not going to change lens, but the lens is not that great, which makes you want to change the lens, right? So there's just too many problems. Like an EM10 makes much more sense than an LS100 in this regard. So if OM system is going to make this, I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I think there's a huge market for this, considering the success of Fuji X100 series as well as the Ricoh GR series. I think there's a market for this large sensor, at least Micro Four Thirds sensor with a fixed lens. But please stop with all these like compromises, right? Like cutting corners and everything. Yeah. Let's get to the members chat first. Let's see. Dan says, can't wait to hear about the announcement and hope you enjoy your visit with your mom. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm very excited about this announcement. Dan says, sad, so sad for Ben. Cancer sucks. Yes. So guys, please spend some time and go over to his channel and at least give him some words of encouragement, right? Lenny the Land says, hi Robin, as much as a pan camera would be great, I think OM need to show the commitment by upgrading the flagship camera with new sensor and innovative tech. I think this will come at least maybe 1 or 2 more years. I don't want them to rush. See what happened when they rush. The OM1 Mark II. In less than a year, OM1 Mark II was launched. That was, I think it's a mistake. They could have put it OM1S. And then in the press release saying that, oh, this is not a replacement for the OM1, but like a minor update to fix certain things or to improve certain features. I think they will receive less flack. Alright, but no, it's like OM1 Mark II, and then because it's in such a short period of time, same sensor, same processor, same bodies, everything is the same 5-axis image stabilization, improved RAM, improved buffer, and that's it, right? Like basically the same camera with minor tweak in the firmware, and they call it the Mark II. I hope that doesn't happen in Mark III, because if it does, I will not be so kind in my comments about the new product. Yeah, Edwin says, I'll send it to a revision in November. It's about photography and arts education in secondary school, analyzing photography in contextual use. I'll send you the paper as soon as it is evaluated. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll never thought like the day will come where my work will be used. I know it's a small part in your thesis, but it's a joy for me to see that what I did matters, and what I did actually contributed a little bit to the betterment of the society. You get what I mean? Like, especially in this academic world. I thought it's really cool. So yes, please keep me posted, Edwin. I'm very interested to read the thesis. Yeah. Jordan says, if you are a Buddhist, OM is the perfect name. Nope, I'm not Buddhist. Let's see. Christoph says, Christoph in English is correct. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, yeah? So, Chris, okay, I'll just say Chris. Maybe a cheaper version of the EM1 or OM1 body that lies perfectly in the hand. Yeah. I don't think there'll be a cheaper version of the EM1 or OM1. I think the cheaper version of OM1 would be OM3, which exactly is not that cheap. Not much cheaper, I guess. Barrett says, greetings from Jersey Shore, US. Recent Macro Four Thirds convert, have loved PanF and 5 lenses. Wow. Now considering EM1 Mark II, would love to see OM make simple upgrades to some of their non-pro lens lineup. Yes, they are starting to make them. They just launched the 17 and 25 f1.8 Mark II with weather sealing and some minor updates there and here. So I think this trend will continue. I hope if they update the 45 1.8, I'll buy one immediately, because that's my most used lens, right? Imagine 45 1.8 weather sealing, immediate purchase. I don't care. And I guess like 75 1.8 could use an upgrade. Even the 60 f2.8 macro lens is an excellent lens. I'm making a content about this. I talk about why that lens needs an upgrade. It can benefit from faster autofocus, right? Those of you who use the macro lens, you know that the autofocus isn't that great. But it's understandable because it's an old lens, and maybe they can just upgrade the lens with just better autofocus. It's just perfect, right? Yeah. Taco says, Selamat petang Robin, your composition of kolomi makes me hungry. No worries, I'm gonna have as many kolomi as I can when I go back to Kuching. JNL says, an update of the EM10 is necessary, but I wish a new EPM2, a really small new camera for my pocket. I think the Pen Mini is so cute, right? I just love it so much. But yeah, I think EM10 series is definitely necessary. Something that is affordable, accessible, that can target a wider audience to come into the Macro Four Thirds system, to experience OM system and the lenses, right? Don't you want to sell lenses, OM Digital Solutions? Hey, Santix! Hi, Robin, hope you're doing well. The weather is rainy these days, it seems. It hasn't rained in Bukit Jalil though. It rained in Kajang, Santix, where you are. You're in Kajang, right? Bukit Jalil hasn't rained, but I think it rains somewhere else because the temperature is dropping. It's now 28 degrees and going down quick. So I think it's raining elsewhere, maybe the surrounding neighboring area, like PJ or maybe downtown KL. And yeah, it's dropping down the temperature, which is good. Yeah. Okay, let me just get a few more chat and then we'll go to share my thoughts. Edwin says, we people talk a lot about the Pen F Mark II because we think it will make a great place camera for street photography. Something more aspirational than anything, but I really hope for a sensor renovation. Yes, I think the new sensor is definitely needed. Even the current sensor in the OM1 and OM1 Mark II is not really inspiring. Same resolution, same dynamic range, and high ISO performance. Definitely need a new sensor with, at least, if you don't give us any improvement in dynamic range and high ISO, at least resolution, right? Make it like 33 or 38 megapixels, they'll be great. But the same, if you maintain the same dynamic range and same high ISO, but you can bump up the resolution to 35, 38, 40, that would be great. Yeah. No, it's not. It's not raining at all. If it's raining, I would have closed the window. Yeah. Sunny says, last 2 weeks, I was in my dad's hometown to attend my cousin's wedding. Ah, okay. I helped my mom as a second photographer. I helped them. Sorry, I don't know why I said mom. I'm traveling home to Kuching to see mom, so mom's image is always in my head now. So sorry about that, Santix. I don't know why I said mom. I helped them as a second photographer to capture the point of view of the attendees, family and friends of the wedding ceremony, captured moments. That's very kind of you, Santix, putting your camera to good use, your camera and your skills to good use. I hope you captured some really nice moments. And the thing about weddings or events is that it's about capturing those precious moments, and they may not be something that is special to you, but to the wedding couple, you're shooting a wedding, right? It means the world to them when they see those photographs. Yeah. NatureBird says, like I said, with the EM10 series, we definitely need a new entry-level camera. Update like a new pen, EM10, even a new compact with a bigger sensor, even OM1 with a new sensor will be great. Yeah. I think one step at a time. I think the next camera, because the title of the stream is like, what should OM system make next, right? I don't think the next camera will be the OM1 Mark III or anything flagship, near flagship level. We had the OM3 this year and now OM5 Mark II. I think the next one will probably be something lower, Pen or EM10 series. I think most likely it's EM10 series. I'm not saying that I don't want the flagship to get better with a new sensor. I think that is a great suggestion and it's absolutely necessary. But I also don't want OM Digital Solutions to rush this. See what happened when they rushed the OM Mark II. That did not end well for everyone, right? So please take the time. I want them to take the time to really refine the features, give us a massive update, a boost of performance, imaging quality, like really make it a wow product. So take the time, 1 or 2 years later, give us a really impressive product. They'll be better. Yeah. Jerry says, I'm eating licorice ice cream. It's so hot over there, hey. Oh my goodness. Jason says, hi Robin, I'll catch up with this stream later, but I just want to say happy birthday to your mom. Have a lovely trip. Oh, thank you so much. Mom, I appreciate that. Pete says, sending my best wishes to Ben. He's a great guy. Yes, yes. Please do comment on his channel as well, yeah? Jeff says, Ben is a remarkable guy. His knowledge of astrophotography is outstanding. I agree. I wish him the very best in his fight against cancer. Please also relay this message. Type it at his channel. I think he needs to hear this from you directly, right? I don't know if he's in any condition to even watch this live stream. Like I'm streaming for hours, so to expect him to do that, like I can't, right? We have a super chat. Hey Luis, how are you? Luis says, I started on the OM10. I just bought the OM Mark I. That's on sale right now. I've been very happy with the EM10, but limits in bracketing and spot metering, not following the focal point is why I upgraded. Yeah. Oh, it was the original first EM10, right? I think in EM10 Mark II. I can't remember which EM10. Then you can have the spot metering link with the focusing point. Yeah, I think, yes, the original one doesn't have that feature. It came a little bit later. I think it came maybe after, I'm not sure if it's EM5 Mark II or EM1 Mark II. All these features and the chronological order is all getting a little bit messy in my head already. But thank you so much for the support, Luis. Appreciate the gesture. And yeah, definitely, I agree with you that focal point following the spot metering is a huge thing if you use spot metering a lot. Yeah, whoops. All right, let me just go to a few more chat and then we'll start rolling with the topic. Santik says, N4 camera seems to be have quite a few branches. If not wrong, they are from northern region. Yes, they're from Penang. And their business model is very interesting. They target the rural areas. So they have shops at like Sri Manjong, they have shops at outer parts of Kedah, Perak, Alor Setar, Kelantan, yeah, not necessarily like the city region or even Georgetown. It's always the rural areas, and they're doing really, really well. Fun fact, Santix, the number one store, the top selling store in terms of revenue, I think in profit as well, in Lazada. I'm not sure about latest though, but I think for the past many years, at least 4 or 5 years, they have been dominated by N4 camera. The top selling store in Lazada. That's a fact. I'm not sure if they've dominated Shopee or not, but I know for sure Lazada, the top store, is N4. All right, I'll put a pause on the chat. Oh, we have a member. Okay, Kevin, let's read Kevin's chat first. If OM bring out an updated 60 macro, it'll be on my list. It's one of my favorite lenses. Had a lot of fun with the original in the butterfly park last week. And I'm sure you can feel how slow the autofocus is, right? While it's still reliable, it still gets the job done, but I think a refresh for the faster autofocus would really benefit the lens, right? Or us using the lens. Yeah. All right. Let me drink some coffee and we'll get to the topic. Man, we are already, it's almost 15 minutes to 11. So what camera should OM system make next? They've just launched OM5 Mark II, I think about 2 weeks ago. And earlier this year, they launched the OM3. So we have a high-level camera, which is very close to flagship. OM3 is technically a mini OM1, right? And then we have a lower-level camera now, the OM5, which I believe is taking the place of OM10. So I'm not sure if OM Digital Solutions is going to come up with an OM10. So the OM5 now seems like it's taking over the lowest level of the OM line of cameras. So currently there are only 3 lines of cameras, right? Or 3 cameras in the OM series: OM1, OM3, OM5. OM1 being the flagship, OM3 being slightly lower than flagship, and OM5 now sort of like filling the gap of the lowest level, not necessarily entry level, but the lowest level of the OM series. I'm not sure if OM10 or the EM10 replacement will come. I wish that it will. It makes more sense to keep everything OM, OM1, OM3, OM5, OM10, and have everything more standardized. Like all of the cameras will have electronic viewfinder, all the cameras will have 5-axis image stabilization, all the cameras will have some basic features, use the same processor, same manual system, all the consistency across the board. But I do want the OM10 replacement. I think it makes more sense because we need a camera that is below $1,000 US, maybe make it $999 or $899 if possible. It doesn't have to have weather sealing. Plastic body is fine at that price. Make sure it's good plastic though, not some cheap plastic by some other camera manufacturers. Make sure it's a premium grade plastic. Really good viewfinder. It doesn't have to be the latest viewfinder because this is a cheap product, so being budget friendly, we understand, yeah, they have to recycle some old tech, 5-axis image stabilization, put in some really good computational features, and hopefully update the autofocus system as well. And at this price point, being budget friendly, I'm not expecting the camera to outperform like OM5 or OM3, but at least have the same sensor and processor as OM5, which is technically the same with the one that I've been using all this time, EM5 Mark III and EM1 Mark II. Amazing image quality, the 20 megapixels image sensor, which technically gives you the same image quality as OM1, OM3 anyway. Same resolution, dynamic range, and high ISO. So you don't lose out, right? It's just that in terms of speed, it's not a stacked sensor, so instead of 120 frames per second, you get 60 frames per second. Or in OM5's situation, they nerf it down to 30 frames per second. Even 30 frames is like, it's pretty substantial if you ask me, right? But the original EM1 Mark II can go up to 60 frames per second, and that is pretty fast already, right? Full RAW. It's not even a downgraded RAW, it's full RAW, but electronic shutter, right? And EM1 Mark II can manage rolling shutter really well. It's not like there's too much compromise. Of course, OM1 is better because the stack sensor, much faster readout. The elimination of the rolling shutter and bending problem is way better than the EM1 Mark II. But EM1 Mark II by itself is no slouch. If you compare EM1 Mark II versus the original, the older silent shutter or electronic shutter in EM5 Mark II or the EM10 series camera or the original EM1, it's a huge improvement, EM1 Mark II versus all the others, right? So using the EM1 Mark II's processor and sensor is not necessarily a bad thing. I know it's an old camera, but this is a budget level camera. So to make things more affordable, more accessible, I think it's a good strategy to bring people into the system, and maybe they'll upgrade to OM3, OM1 in the future, and while collecting lenses, right? Amazing macro lenses, amazing telephoto lenses, amazing prime lenses. We have all kinds of lenses for Micro Four Thirds, not just from OM system, but also from Panasonic, Sigma, and all the other manufacturers. Another possibility, I think there'll only be two possibilities at this point. The sensible choices, right? OM10 or EM10 replacement, or a budget pen camera, the EPL update. If they come up with EPL update, it's a good strategy as well. I think either OM10 or EPL update will be great. I don't think there's right and wrong. There's pros and cons as well, but there's no right and wrong. EPL upgrade because it's something that's so small, so tiny, so compact, pocketable, and yet can deliver all the benefits of Micro Four Thirds, which is not a bad thing. It's something that can sell. Like, it can be something to fight head on against like Fuji S100 series, as well as the Ricoh GR3 series. We all know the GR4 is coming. So something small, something light, paired with small lenses. Maybe they should come up with more pancake lenses to match the small body. That would be amazing. It doesn't have to be weather sealed. It doesn't have to have all the latest bells and whistles, but make it really affordable. Put in the latest, put in the 20 megapixel image sensor, 5.6 IS, and yeah, make sure it has a really good screen. If you don't have a viewfinder attachment, I think it'll still sell. And to really push it forward, I think the pen line can be used for vlogging, for everyday carry camera. If you want it for vlogging, they must put in the audio microphone in, right? The audio jack, the microphone in. That is very, very important. I don't know why. Like EPL 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, none of them have microphone in. So if they are going to come up with a replacement or the successor for the pen line, the EPL line, please pull in the microphone input, pull in powerful image stabilization. Don't skip over that part. And please also put in at least the phase detection autofocus from the OM5 series camera. With that, at least when you record a video, you hit the record button, put the camera on the tripod, the camera can stick on your face, like now, right? The OM1 can stick on my face because of the face detection autofocus. It doesn't have to have the latest AI subject detection from the OM1, because if they need it, then they need the new processor, the new sensor, blah, 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 which is not possible. And it doesn't make sense because you'll make it like, hey, this budget camera can do anything that the OM1 can do. Then why do I buy the OM1? So I think there's a need for the product separation or product differentiation. That's very important, but at least put in the face detection autofocus for better continuous autofocus performance, especially for video, if you care about vlogging. And a Micro Four Thirds sensor, I think, is just perfect for vlogging. You can still get decent blur in the background not every time. A lot of times people actually comment on my video, hey Robin, what camera do you use to shoot your video? It looks so good. I'm like, Micro Four Thirds, and say, wow, it can get this much blur? I'm like, okay, maybe you're asking the wrong question. You're asking which camera, right? The camera is irrelevant. It's the lens. I was using the 45 f1.8, which gives me all the blur, which is a magical lens. That's a different topic. We want to get into that. So yeah, I personally predict is between, if there's a new camera coming, whether this year or next year, there will be between these two, OM10, which is the EM10 replacement, or pen, EPL7, not EPL7, sorry. I have an EPL7, that's why I said EPL7. But EPL10 successor. So either pen light successor or OM10. What do you guys think? There's no right and wrong. This is an open-ended question. Feel free to throw in your thoughts, share your opinion, say anything. I'll read all your chat. Don't worry. And yeah, let me just drink some coffee before I get to the chat. All right. As usual, I'll reply to members first, and then I'll get to the non-members, right? So don't worry, I'll get to every single chat. Mike says 899 with the kit zoom. Nah, 899 without. With the kit zoom lens, maybe 999. It's fair, right? 999 with kit zoom lens. Rippy says, no more EM10, OM10. Taylor Swift had better upgrade to OM5 or maybe OM3 if she can afford it. Maybe she's using a Leica now. Who knows, right? She's Taylor Swift. She can use whatever she wants. Mika says, I think the APM2 style camera would be nice. It was my first Micro Four Thirds camera and the size was great for me. I know, right? Like something so small, so light, and yet when you take photos, it just gives you that satisfaction, right? It's like, yeah. PM2 with a Panasonic 20. Yeah, and we need more pancakes, right? Because currently we only have like a few selection. The Olympus 17 f2.8, which is not a great lens, it's so slow. Even the Panasonic 20 f1.7 is not really that fast, and the rendering image quality is not that great either. The only good one is the 14 f2.5. Even so, it's not one of the best lenses out there. But of all these three, I'll still say the Panasonic 14 is the best pancake. So we need more options from either OM Digital Solutions or Panasonic. They've made a few, why not make more, right? Andrew says, anyone here see the article from Digital Camera World about OM staying with 20 megapixel sensor? I don't think they said anything official, right? Even if they did, these are the things that will come back to bite them in the future. Like, you remember, there was a time where Olympus said, oh, we'll never go above 12 megapixels. 12 megapixels is more than enough. And then I think 1 or 2 years later, they went 16 megapixels with the EM5, right? So yeah, it's like, or Nikon, when they had the D2, it was a crop sensor camera, right? And then they said, oh, we'll never go full frame because crop sensor is enough to deliver satisfactory image quality. Full frame is totally unnecessary. And then D3 came out and it's like, it's a full frame camera. Like, Nikon, what are you doing? Yeah, they can claim all kinds of things, but things always change and they just have to move according to what the consumer wants, right? Roger says, we need the pen line to be updated, small body to go up against all the one-shot camera, but with interchangeable lens options. I agree. That's what I mentioned as well. I think a smaller camera is not a bad option, considering there is a demand for compact cameras with capable imaging quality. Hey Thomas, how are you? Thomas says, Robin, did you see Chris' video about the GM5 being his favorite camera? Thoughts on OM Panasonic remaking a Micro Four Thirds body that small? I've made so many videos on GM1 already. I don't think I want to share any of them anymore. But I disagree, because he said the GM5 is like the best camera, Micro Four Thirds camera, right? I disagree with that, because I think when it comes within Micro Four Thirds, let's just not open up the scope too wide, because there's like Leica, there's Hasselblad, there's full frame DSLRs and everything. There's just so many variations. Just within the sphere of Micro Four Thirds, I think the best camera for photography, not video, for photography, for stills shooting, right, will be EM1 or EM1 Mark II, between these two cameras. And the reason why I don't want to give it to EM1 Mark II, because I think EM1 Mark II is a bit too large. If I can have the EM1 Mark II at the size of the EM1, it will be perfect, right? And even now, like OM1, OM1 Mark II, in terms of resolution and image quality, is still the same as the EM1 Mark II. And autofocus is not that much. In some ways, it's a step backward from EM1 Mark II. So yeah, if you ask me, a really good camera, the best camera ever from Micro Four Thirds would be EM1 or EM1 Mark II. Yeah, not GM5. GM5, the ergonomics is bad. The electronic viewfinder is horrible. No tilt screen, no image stabilization, no weather sealing. Like, come on. Yes, I understand. I've said this many times. For a fun camera, it doesn't have to have all these features. Sometimes the best camera is the camera that you have with you. I had a GM5 before. I gave it away. I bought a GM1 instead, because I realized that I never even used the electronic viewfinder. It's so bad. And for what it is, I think GM1 is sufficient. Yes, I do use these cameras for my street photography, for my casual everyday use, for travel. Small cameras has its place. I've always said this before, and I love tiny cameras. And between GM1 and EPL7, I've picked the GM1 a lot more than the EPL7. Although the EPL7 is more practical, EPL7 has image stabilization, tilt screen, better screen, larger screen, has better grip, has more dials and controls, has PSM button and everything. I know that it's great, but I feel that the GM1 being so small, so light, and very basic minimalist, there's a charm to it. There's a way to enjoy it. But if I were to do something more serious, EM1 Mark II, no way I'm gonna pick the EPL7 or the GM5 or GM1. So that statement, I mean, Chris can say whatever he wants. Obviously, he's a great photographer. He has his own personal preferences. We all have our personal preferences. But yeah, for me, EM1. And again, I speak in the sphere of Micro Four Thirds just for photography. Like, when you talk about video, then things get complicated, right? Yeah, we all know that. Yeah. Andrew says, I recently got a Pancake 70 f2.8 slow lens, but I've learned to work with the imperfections and being patient. It's just because I saw Robin's video. Oh, and it's not expensive, right? I think for the price, it's justified. And image quality is not that bad either. Alkim says, "Hi Robin, I've been shooting extreme sports for a little over 15 years in Turkey and recently become OM System ambassador. Congratulations. Loving the system, build quality. I guess we need the EM1X light bodies." No, I don't. I think EM1X was the cause of the failure of Olympus. It was the start of the downfall of Olympus, if you really study the timeline. At the same year, I think it was 2018 or 2018 when EM1X was launched, full-frame mirrorless cameras were also launched. Everyone else had bigger sensor, smaller body. EM1X had larger camera body than all these full-frame cameras like the Canon R5, R6, and then Nikon Z6, Z7. They were smaller than the EM1X, and yet they have larger sensor and better performance and better autofocus. And EM1X is just large, but no improvement over EM1 Mark II. Same sensor, same processor, and like more expensive. It's just ridiculous, and it's just, I think that camera is a failure. Whether Olympus wants to admit it or not, it was a mistake, and it started to trigger the downfall and it started to push people away from Micro Four Thirds. Imagine EM1X being more expensive than Nikon Z7, Z6, and Canon R5, R6. Can you imagine? And yet it offers nothing more. Yeah. So no, I think if they repeat the same mistake, it's just gonna be they're shooting themselves in the foot again, right? Yeah. Akim says, and a pen line to be updated as well. Yes, definitely. Fajar says, what makes Olympus still has one sensor, not like Lumix has full frame and Micro Four Thirds? What system make full frame APS-C in the future? So this is a very dangerous thing to do. Two reasons why I've talked about this in my previous live stream. You can check it out if you have not done so. Two things that happened in 2018 that led to the downfall of Micro Four Thirds. One, EM1X, which makes zero sense, where everyone has bigger sensor and smaller cameras and cheaper cameras, whereas EM1X is bigger, more expensive, smaller sensor, worse performance, right? In terms of value proposition, is a nightmare. Second thing that happened that year, or third thing, because first thing is EM1X, second thing is the full frame coming in, right? Third thing is Panasonic going full frame. So Panasonic has always been on Micro Four Thirds only from day one, right? G1, then they have the successful GH2, GH3, and GH, I don't know, 4, 5. And then we have the G9, and we have like the GX series line, all these amazing cameras from Panasonic, right? And even the GM. And then suddenly one day they say, oh, hey, we are entering full frame market. We are making full frame cameras. So it begs the question, what happened to your commitment to Micro Four Thirds? So in that year, the third thing that happened was Panasonic sort of like abandoning Micro Four Thirds. That does not inspire confidence from the market's point of view. Olympus making a huge mistake with EM1X, and Panasonic diverting their resources, diluting their attention with a new full frame mount. Sort of like the Micro Four Thirds is an afterthought already. And these are the things that led to Micro Four Thirds losing market share rapidly. And now look at them. They have less than 5% market share in the market. Yeah. Hey, Captain Awesome, how are you? Nice to see you here. And it says, I can't really speak for Olympus, but I really wish Panasonic would update the GX85 with more up-to-date features and better sensor. I think it was set incredibly well. Sometimes I wonder what Panasonic is thinking. Like, it's not like they don't have all this technology, right? It's not like they don't know how to make all these cameras. Sunday says, thunder in Kajang and drizzle, Sentul rain, I guess the city center too. No rain here, it's perfectly dry, but I can feel the temperature is dropping. So yeah, it must have been raining elsewhere. Captain Webb says, so the new EP7 will be after a new EM10? They'll kind of wait. What do you mean EP7 will be after a new EM10? Why would it be in that sequence? Sadi says, it seems Bukit Jalil seems like a different part of KL. Bukit Damansara and TT8. Nah, I don't think so. Maybe because of the stadium, right? Makes things different. Yeah, affects the weather. Chuck says, on the marketing front, I think it's a mistake to only highlight wildlife when, in my opinion, Micro Four Thirds is even more amazing for travel. I'll never hike with full frame again. Yeah, understand travel, street as well, right? I think it's perfect camera for street photography. I agree with you. And the fact that they keep drumming the propaganda for wildlife, nature, outdoor, it's kind of sad because Micro Four Thirds is a lot more than that. Sunday says, yes, I look at the photos and I think I captured moments, one of the lifetime moments, yes. And that's the most important thing, Santix. In my opinion, OM should make EP7 with a big bulge at the corner for electronic viewfinder. Yeah, but then EP7 is not even, they don't even want to sell EP7 here. Kind of sad, right? EP7 is already very good, they just need an electronic viewfinder. Like, they don't even care about the market, not just Malaysia, but like, most parts of the world, they're not even selling it. Yeah, Sunny says, I've been buying small photography stuff from M4 via Lazada, also wondering why they have stores in rural areas. Now I know why. Don't underestimate people in rural area. They have money. just because you think they don't live in the city, doesn't mean they cannot buy cameras. Don't underestimate them. Yeah. Captain Web says, new EP7 optional EVF, maybe Leica Visoflex hot shoe compatible is all what's needed. EVFs are loss leaders, so Leica make them. But here's the thing, right? Like, if all those external attachments of electronic viewfinder would have worked, and there was a time when you can use Olympus electronic viewfinders on Leica cameras, they actually use the same electronic pins and connections. You can use Olympus. If you want to save money, you don't want to buy Leica electronic viewfinder, you just buy Olympus electronic viewfinder and just attach it on a Leica camera. It's basically the same. If it would have worked, it would have worked by now, right? The fact that they gave up on these electronic viewfinder attachments, I think it was EPL 9? EPL 8? I can't remember. I think it's EPL 9. Starting from EPL 9, they give it up. The reason why they gave it up was because nobody bought them. Like, maybe only 1% of the people who bought the pan camera bought the electronic viewfinder. So let's say they've made thousands and thousands of units, and all these thousands of units of electronic viewfinder are sitting in the warehouse or the camera store and not moving. Would you want to make more? Are you sure you're going to make another camera with electronic viewfinder attachment? It's just a business decision, right? If a lot of people buy to a point where they have shortage of electronic viewfinders, they have to make more, of course, they're going to include it in the future cameras. The fact that not enough people use them prompted them to remove it from the camera. And I don't think it's wise for them to put it back because it's just losing money, right? All these electronic viewfinders, excess electronic viewfinders sitting in a warehouse doing nothing. What are they going to do with it? They can't sell all cameras. They can't move these new electronic viewfinders, right? Yeah. Yeah, SX3 would be nice, but like 1-inch sensor, I think, will make more sense. Yep. Yumi says, a new Pan Mini or a small Pan L will be nice. We'll give a 20 megapixel sensor. How many years they have been stuck with 16? I know, right? I know. Yeah, new sensor definitely. Pete says, EP7 seems to be cheaper in the UK at the moment than a few months ago. Could be a version that is coming. Yeah, so lucky to have EP7 in the UK. We have nothing here. Time check is 5 minutes past 11. Let me just put a pause on the chat and drink some water. And then we'll go to the photo sharing for today. All right, so these photographs that I'm sharing now will be used next week's next Monday's video. So in this video, it's technically about this lens. So it's not a new lens. It's been out for a few years now. This is the TT Artisan 27 f2.8 autofocus. It's a pancake lens designed for APS-C size sensor cameras. And I have here the Sony A6, which I got for really cheap in the used market. So I got this, wait, where's the red dot? This is not Micro Four Thirds. So it took me some time to figure out how to align everything. So having a tiny pancake camera on a compact camera body like this, Sony A6, makes sense. And I got it so cheap. The lens itself, or I think if you buy it new now, it's less than $100 US, maybe like $99 US or so. But I got it in the used market for a lot less. And for the price that I paid, I think I get fantastic results out of it. Is it a great lens? Is it giving me pro-grade quality? No. In terms of sharpness, bokeh, flow control, there were some things to complain about, of course. But at this price, way below $100 US, for such a tiny size, with incredible build, it's made of metal, with click aperture and relatively fast autofocus, it's a steal. Like, sometimes it's not about technical perfection. If you want technical perfection, then go for pro-grade lenses, right? You gotta spend a bit more. But for such a cheap lens, it's offering a lot more than it should have. So here are some photographs, and I went to Malacca with this combination. This was taken about 8 months ago, so it's a series of old photographs. And this is one of the videos where I made it like I made a video, I put it there, I never published, and I never realized until time went on and on, and it's been 8 months since I made the video. So yeah. So here are the photographs. This is Malacca, shooting across the river near the town area. Right, and I love reflections. So if you want calmer water, usually in the morning, there's less wind, and you get near, it's not perfect, but near perfect reflection of the building on the water. And then you guys know me, when I see colors, I just can't resist. There's the yellow, what do you call that? Not gate, door. What do you call that? I don't even know why I call that. the yellow wall. Let's just call it wall. The wall against the yellow Mini Cooper, and then there's a yellow line on the road. All the yellow line up perfectly with some warning harsh light, directional light, making it look a little bit three-dimensional, and the colors and everything just come alive and just pop. I just love to celebrate colors in my photographs. Yeah. And then, of course, there's a cat. There's always a cat. And, you know, I like how the cat itself is looking so calm, so peaceful, and yet surrounded cat is a chaos. It's a total mess. There's so many things happening. Like, everything is not in a very organized manner, and yet the cat is just there, sitting calmly, lying down, you know, like being very peaceful. Of course, I have to go close to the cat and pet the cat after I've done taking a photograph. And a portrait of a stranger, and here you can see the bokeh is a bit harsh, so if I want like perfect image quality, this will not be the first lens for me to reach. But hey, I'm just doing some street photography. I don't really care about technical perfection. It's just a fun lens to use, and it can still give me some really good results. Yeah, this is a close-up of the person. Yep. You can see that the bokeh shape is a little bit elongated or stretched at the side, which is not ideal. But again, you know, I can complain and complain and complain, but just get a shot. Shut up and get a shot, right? Yeah. And yeah, I just love this type of shops. These are the old style shops. They have all these containers with all the candies and selling all the condiments and everything. Oh, it's just so good. Reminds me of the old style traditional shops. We don't have a lot of this remaining anymore, so whenever I see them, I'll try to preserve the memory, try to capture as many shots as I can. Right. And the old style weighing machines as well. Look at that, right? Yeah. That's the roof of a temple. Chinese love the phoenix and dragons and the red color, so everything looks very vibrant, the patterns and everything is like an art by itself. So yeah, that's like a temple's roof. And then walking by a shop where this is a typical scene in Malaysia, especially so in smaller town like Malacca, where people just chill around at the shop, drinking coffee, having their morning breakfast, and reading the paper, and just hang out and gossip. You know, it's a very typical scene in Malaysia, and it's just so normal. You can see this happening a lot, right? Here in this case, this is not an easy shot to take. It has a mixed white balance. So the outer part, the one nearer to the right-hand side, you have natural sunlight, and then towards inside, the man in red sitting inside the shop, that's fluorescent lighting. There's lights inside the shop. So because of the mixed light, you have different color tones. It shifts a little bit, and it also tests the way the camera handles colors. In this case, it's not very gentle. The shift is very sudden, and well, it's an old Sony camera, so I'm not expecting the colors to be great. Even the previous skin tone, like this man is looking like a crab. It's Sony color is always not the greatest. I understand they've improved a lot on the colors over the years. This is an example of where color is not necessarily Sony's greatest strength. Back then. I'm not complaining about the latest cameras. I haven't used any of the latest cameras, so I'm not complaining about them either. Man riding a bicycle, passing by, which is pretty cool. I love the old look of the shop in his background. Sometimes when you take a photograph, background is the one that makes it or breaks it, right? So I got to pay attention to your background as well. Just a reminder to everyone, you can see distortion here. The barrel distortion is quite pronounced. Again, I should stop complaining about them, right? And yeah, here are some portraits as well. I took some close-up portraits as usual because the 27mm on the APS-C size sensor is about 42.5 or something. I don't know, around 40mm. So it's still good enough to get a little bit closer and get some nice tight portraits. And of course, these men are really friendly as well. Some people selling vegetables at the shop and buying vegetables in the morning. There's a mini morning market. Not much variety compared to like my typical hunting ground at wet markets. We have like so much more on like to choose from, right? Yeah. This is where the Sony AX camera failed me, or almost failed me, or like the timing could have been better. So when I click the camera, there's like a small delay. I think it's a shutter lag. So the man has already walked past the center of the door frame. So my intention was to frame the man directly in the center. So I don't know if the screen lag. There could be all kinds of lag, right? I obviously did not use this NES6 enough to figure out all these problems, and I don't intend to because it's not my main camera. It could be the screen lag, like what I see is already lagging, or it could be the autofocus, not autofocus, already pre-focus, or it could be shutter lag. Like I thought I click, I got it, but it's like half a second later, then the camera captures the shot. So it could be screen lag or shutter lag. I don't know which one. I didn't stay to find out. But yeah, the ideal position would be the man right in the middle of the door. But doesn't really matter, right? It's just a fun shot. And another portrait of a man, close up. I just love close-up shots. Why not, right? Yeah. And making frames, making all this carpentry or cabinets, or furniture, right? I think these are a very traditional way of making things. We still find this here. And okay, the next series, which I have about 10 more shots left, will be about food that I consume in Malacca. So I hope you enjoyed this first set. I'm gonna pause here first and get to the chat before they piled up and got out of control. Hope you enjoyed the series of photographs taken with this tiny pancake lens, 7 Artisans, sorry, not 7 years. TT Artisan 27 f/28. Oh my goodness, I hope I didn't mention it wrongly. If I've said 7 Artisan, sorry, it's TT Artisan 27 f/28. My goodness, my brain sometimes fails me, so I'm so sorry about that. Let me drink more water before I fry my brain. Do we have coffee left? A little bit, yep. Let's get to the chat. I think it's a good time to remind everyone that I have enabled my membership. With just the price of a cup of coffee, you can support me. You get some really cool perks in return. You have early access to all my new videos. You can watch my videos 24 hours before everyone else. We have members-only live streams. We just had one last Monday where you can come in once a month to have more direct conversation with me. Instead of me reading all the chats in the public, you can chat with me a little bit more intimately. If you're a member, I will prioritize my reply to your comments on my videos, whether it's a new video or old videos, before I reply everyone else. Similarly, on this live stream, you can see that I prioritize my responses to chats by members first before everyone else. Now, there are videos that I've taken down, the videos that are not performing well. The reason is so that they will not affect the algorithm of YouTube promoting my new videos. It has been working for the recent videos. My recent videos are doing quite well. So these videos include tips and tricks of composition, black and white photography, how to get sharp images doing macro, and a lot of POV street photography. If you want full access to these videos, you can join as a member. There are other ways to support me besides joining as a member. You can buy me a cup of coffee. You can also contribute directly to my PayPal, or you can buy from my affiliate links, both Amazon and B&H. All links in the description below. Any support, any contribution goes a long way. It will definitely help me to make more videos, to shoot more, and share more photography tips and tricks here with you guys. Right? For those who have contributed to me, who have supported me, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And without you, there's no Robin Wong. All right, let's get to the chat. Let's get to the chat. I'm a little bit behind, but let's catch up as best I can. Let's get to the members first. As promised, Andrew says, the Olympus electronic viewfinders are so expensive even in the used market. The panels and the lenses are not cheap, right? You think it's just a tiny electronic panel, but that panel is expensive because is like at high resolution. It has higher resolution than the LCD panel at the back of the camera screen. And behind the panel, between the screen, the electronic panel, and your eye, there are a series of about 10 or more lenses to make it look like large and sharp and clear. So between those lenses and the electronic panel, it's not cheap. You're technically buying a small lens with an electronic display panel, right? Yeah, Andrew says a new SZ series would be nice. Should give Canon G series a run for its money. Yeah, but I think they have mentioned that at least from the Olympus era, they said they have given out more compacts, except specialized compacts like the TG Tough series. But who knows? This is OM Digital Solutions. It's not Olympus, right? Maybe they'll make a comeback. Yeah. Mr. Grumpy Face. Nah, the cat was nice. After I petted the cat was like, oh, was being really friendly and all. So not really grumpy. Maybe the cat didn't sleep enough. I don't know. Linda says, hey, I think we'll all like to read that thesis. I know, right? Well, I'm not sure if theses, some theses are not made like publicly available, right? Catamel says, EPM would be great. I trade the tilt LCD for less thickness any day. Yeah. Depends on what you do though. Like for me, when I do street, sometimes like I don't want to get on my knees. I'm not getting any younger. I don't want to hurt my knees. So like lower down the camera without bending my knees. It's a lifesaver with the tilt screen, right? Fabakamaka says, good evening, Robin. Sorry I'm late. No worries. You don't have to apologize. I'm just so happy that you are here. And hello to you too. Tyramid says, I'd like to see the new pen light or OM10 design based on BLX1 lithium-ion battery. Normal small tiny battery. But then again, that will make it a lot chunkier, right? The reason why the tiny battery is tiny is so that the cameras can be made small. And I've never had any issues with the battery life on my Olympus Pen or EM10 series camera. I've used the EM10 series cameras extensively if you've checked my channel. Sally says, if the EP7 has a mic input and swivel screen, face detect autofocus, electronic viewfinder, I don't think electronic viewfinder, anyway, we captured the entry-level market, R50V, ZFC, SM5, 600 900 US dollars range, capture vlogging market, intro market. Yeah, I think it can, like, as long as they have all these things, electronic viewfinder optional. Because once you put electronic, you don't understand how expensive the electronic viewfinder is. Once you put electronic viewfinder in, it's gonna be above 1,000 US dollars. It's hard to make it less, and they'll be like, yeah. Cadero says, why does nobody use USB-C as a hot shoe connector? So electronic viewfinder will be used even away from the camera via cable. Oh, because of the power output. The USB-C cannot deliver as much power as a hot shoe. You know how much, like, yeah, it's not only that, and then also like the instant response. Like USB-C may still have like a minor delay, but like hot shoe is like instantaneous. And the way the electronics are designed is for speed, not so much for functionality, right? So yeah. Sunday says, yes, EPL 11 must have a mic input. I agree. Hey Mugilan, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while. We've said like we were going to do some shutter therapy, we never did, right? Oh my goodness. Give a pan camera with a metal build, image stabilization, 20 megapixel sensor, be in flash, tiltable screen, better autofocus and weather sealing. I'll pay premium money for that. Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? And Mugilan has, he's rocking a Pen F the last time I saw him, and he's an excellent wedding photographer in Kuala Lumpur. Thomas says, Chris from Panapistol did a video about GM5 being the best camera. Do you think OM Panasonic should make a new camera? I answered your question already. Guys, if it took me, if I will go to every single chat, right? You don't have to repeat your questions. I never miss any chat. And it'll take some time, but please be patient. I'll go to every single chat. Nico says, hi Robin. Hey Nico, how are you? Sunny says, swivel out screen with no more flip down screen, or at least flip up. I want tilt screen though for street photography, so it's always like a challenge, right? Sort of like whether you want it for photography or video. Yeah, you can't have both. But I don't mind them making it like for photography, but with some basic video features, right? Sunny says, if there is a reason why they make flip down screen, well, from the official explanation from Olympus when I work for them, is that when the camera flips down, let's say this is a camera, right? And then if the screen flips down, when I look at the screen, when I vlog, it's more natural. It's like I'm looking into the lens. If it flicks up, it seems like I'm looking away from the lens. That's the reasoning. But then again, if you flip down, you can't really put on a tripod, right? And then like a lot of my videos I need my tripod. Even now, this live stream I need my tripod, so it's also counterproductive. There's no win-win in this situation. Captain says, bad the Leica's most sold lenses are Micro Four Thirds, but where is Leica's premium Micro Four Thirds? Leica does not have Micro Four Thirds lenses. Leica does not make any Micro Four Thirds lenses. I think you're confusing that with a Panasonic lens. So Panasonic lenses, some of them have a Leica badge. That Leica badge is fake. They just pay Leica money so they can use the brand Leica on the lens. It's a quick cash grab for Leica. It has nothing to do with Leica. Leica has zero input in the lenses. If you look at the lens quality, the rendering, it's nothing like anything the Leica lenses can do. Leica lenses give you that very soft bokeh, the images come out with very good character, very nice, natural, organic rendering. It looks almost like realistic, right? Panasonic lenses, no, they're sharp, they're clinically sharp, and to a point where the bokeh is really harsh. It's very anti-Leica. So if you ask me, those are fake Leica lenses, and they are Panasonic lenses 100%, and Leica does not make any Micro Four Thirds lenses. Sunny says, I remember seeing a video where you introduced the EM5 Mark II. I never did anything with EM5 Mark II because I never had an EM5 Mark II video. There is no 4K but has good image stabilization. The Still Market wants the best video specs. I don't have. EM5 Mark II was launched in 2014. I started doing YouTube in 2019. I never had an EM5 Mark II video. So yeah, so I never made a video about EM5 Mark II. Slam says, hi Robin from wintry Southern Hemisphere. Hey, how are you? I think, yeah, it's winter now, right? If you're in like Australia or New Zealand, that's cool. Sunday says, back in those days, EM5 Mark II, they focused on video features. Now they need to do that. Yes, the EM5 Mark II, they went into video, but the biggest mistake was they did not go 4K. That's the biggest mistake. Whereas like Sony, Samsung, everyone else started to do 4K already and they were lagging behind. It seems like 4K was in demand at that time. Mugilan says, OMG Solutions should make a new TUF camera as well. They're always making new TUF camera and the camera will fly without even updating sensor or processor or anything. They just change the name to TG8 and the camera will fly by itself, which is kind of interesting, right? Captain says GM1, no click wheel on the GF1, GF2, GS1, Panasonic removing that feature was the end of their GF line later. Okay. GM1, yeah, but the thing about the wheel is that at some point it stops working. It's nice when it works. When it stops working, it's a nuisance. And believe it or not, if you use the camera very frequently, within a few years, that wheel is what Emily from Micro Four Nerds described as a spinny wheel of death. And it's gonna be a problem, right? Sonic says, OM system can make new accessory port, but uses hot shoe like how Sony, even now Canon has hot shoe based interface. But it can only do so much, right? The hot shoe interface cannot support electronic viewfinder. I don't think that's possible. It can support certain flash accessory or microphone because it can supply power, but that's it. Captain says, why only make a new hot shoe if we can have a bottom connector too? Because nobody uses it. Like I said before, right? Like they make the accessory compatible with all kinds of external attachments. You can put on microphone, you can put on LED lights, you can put on flash, you can put on electronic viewfinder, you can connect all kinds of weird attachments on it, but nobody bought these attachments. Imagine they made thousands and thousands of all these external attachments and they're just sitting in the warehouse, nobody buys them, and what's the point? They're just losing money one camera after another, and after 4 or 5 iterations they say, no, we're gonna stop bleeding money, nobody uses this, nobody is interested in all these attachments, we're just gonna scrap it off. It's a purely business decision. Who's to blame? The customer who's not buying all these things, right? Yeah. Thomas says, Email X got grilled hard by Jared Polin. That video didn't help Micro Four Thirds at all. One of the biggest names in photography on YouTube, trashing a camera and the whole system. That hard did us no favors. I don't blame Jared. He's just being honest. If it's a good product, Jared couldn't do a dent on it. If EM1 X really is a wow product, I'm sure it will sell, right? But the thing is, it's not. It's a failure. Let's just put it that way, right? Yeah. Sunny says, can start with OM10 with the new hot shoe based accessory port, my input, swivel out screen, Bluetooth, connectivity for remote, true functional USB-C port. Yeah, I don't know, OM10. Well, all these things are very basic, right? Like, there's nothing new that you mentioned. They're very basic features. As Art says, I don't think it's Olympus' fault. It was a PR stunt of coining the term full frame for what was originally 35 format, or rather small compared to the older format. Olympus did not claim anything full frame, right? Or anything that I'm aware of. Yeah, anyway. Thomas says, I did 2 weeks in Japan with EMA Mark III and a 12-100. That lens did about 95% of my photography, and it does deliver. Holy grail of travel lens. Yeah, somehow the 12-100 is one of those lenses where it's not small, but people don't mind the size because of the convenience. Like, for me, I'll prefer smaller lenses. I'll prefer the 12-40. But a lot of people prefer to just have that one lens to make it bigger. Right, yeah, and that's fine. We all have like different preferences and everything. And I'd rather have an f2.8 than f4. But people say, okay, it's fine. It's because it's 12-100. I can forgive f2.8, f4. I want the convenience. And this is the situation where convenience actually sells. And the fact that that lens is so sharp, it has 5-axis Sinca S, it's weather sealed, and the rendering is excellent. Yeah, it makes it a very popular lens. Yeah, the 12-100 is one of the most popular lenses for Olympus. Harry says, love the channel, Robin. Thank you so much. Appreciate all the amazing advice on Micro Four Thirds gear. I'd love to see an OM compact Micro Four Thirds, perhaps something with smaller features to the Sony RX100 series. Yeah, but I think to make it as small as RX100 series, it has to have a 1-inch sensor. It cannot have a Micro Four Thirds sensor. If it has a Micro Four Thirds sensor, it will be something like LX100 size or something larger. Yeah, Linda says, try to find LX100. They're crazy expensive because they don't have a successor, right? So technically they are one of a kind. Although, trust me, these cameras are very flawed. I've used LX100 multiple times. I did not like the camera at all. I've made my content about it, so you can search it up. Yeah, Azard says, EP7 is the most successful camera for years, already in Japan, almost always a top 20. In Japan only, like, it's not successful elsewhere because they never even sell it. Like, they're not even selling in Malaysia. Like, I want to buy it, but I can't. So it's only in Japan, right? Yeah. The great Vanzini says, good morning, Robin. Hey, how are you? EP8 was the last we have next. External, EPL8. Yeah, external electronic viewfinder. Alright, sorry about that. So EPL9 was the one that they remove the accessory port. Pete says, OM needs to promote the camera as good for all types of photography, not just outdoor, wildlife, macro. I agree. Slam says, astrophotography community still mourning Aline Wallace, and now our hearts and prayers are with Ben and family. Ben takes solace in knowing you help normies gaze more at the stars. You are going back to heart. Yes, and please take some time, go to his channel and type this exact same comment, just copy paste over to his video. I don't want him to come and spend hours watching this stream. I don't know what condition he is in. Maybe he can't even stay up and, like, catch a stream, but it will mean a lot to him if you type this comment on his channel. So yeah. Captain says, EP7 is not on sale in Germany. Yeah, it's not, right? Yeah. It's not on sale in Malaysia. It's not on sale in Germany. It's not on sale in all parts of the world except, like, I don't know, Japan. Hey Brian, how are you? That Micro Four Thirds guy. Nice to see you here. It says, sorry, been a long time since we talked, but I've been watching from here in Cyprus. Thank you so much for the support. Nice to see you here. Appreciate you being here. I hope you're doing well. Sunday says, if they open up for approved third-party brands to make things using new accessory port, why? Why would they do that? Okay, like, I've talked about this, right? They made it. They made a lot. There's LED attachment, there's microphone attachment, there's flash, there's electronic viewfinder, right? Multiple electronic viewfinders, and none of them sell at all. Like, the sales is pathetic. It's a failure. This accessory port is a failure in terms of sales. They're losing money. They're losing a lot of money, right? Why would they bring it back? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Love the yellow mini. Thank you so much. Talking about the cat, right? Hardware store cat. Yeah, it is. Emily said it. We need Panasonic GM5 Mark II and OMS love money. But OM system is not the one that makes GM5 Mark II, right? Why would they make the GM5 Mark II? It makes no sense. Ethan says, Ethan from One of One Images. Hey Ethan, how are you? Brand says, you guys are talking to each other. No worries. Santik says, Grodox and WEC for Sony using interface shoe. Yeah, those are flashes, right? Canon multifunction shoe adapter for smartphone Eddy P1. Okay. But it says they should bring back the Olympus Trip 35 as a Fuji X100 competitor. If they make it more budget version, a 20mm lens or similar to Panasonic would be a really cool. Yeah, I think they should fight, like they should put in some fight for against all these compact cameras in the market, right? It seems like there's a huge market for that. Why don't just tap into that? The existing market is so huge, right? Thanks, Pete. Appreciate the kind words. Captain Webb says built-in rangefinder style EVFs are discriminating left eye dominant people. That's why I put in the middle, right? Like the OMD style. Yeah, I agree, Captain. Slam says just acquired a P5 and the pancake lens, beautiful, amazing. But coming from smartphones and sub 200 grams digicams, I do feel the weight. If they make the EPS with super light materials, I'll be an instant hit. Yeah, that's where the pen light comes in. It's light. EP5 was the flagship at that time. You have to understand, in the beginning of Micro Four Thirds, there was no OMD camera. There was no EM1, EM5, or EM10. There was only pen cameras. And then there's EP, the EP1, 2, and 5, EP1, 2, 3, and 5, which is the flagship. And then there's EPL series, which is the lighter weight cameras, and the EPM series. So EP5 was a flagship Micro Four Thirds camera at that time, I think just months before the EM5 was launched. So yeah. Ethan says, oh good Brian, lots of sand grain to photographs. Alright, alright. Mugilan says, how about a pan camera with monochrome sensor? Yeah, I don't think that will work. I understand we love monochrome sensor, like I respect monochrome sensor and I would probably buy one myself, but you have to think of general public. They have limited resources now. They're still in the reds in the past 3 years. The financial records are public, so if that's true, they're not making money. So it means that they have limited resources for R&D, limited resources to make new cameras. So if they were to make a new camera, they need to make sure that the camera can sell to a wider audience, to as many people as possible. Ask yourself this, out of the 10 photographers that you know, how many of them will buy a black and white sensor camera? I think maybe one or less than one. Like out of the 10 friends that I know, I can only think of one friend that will buy a black and white camera. If that's true, then it's a very poor decision to make a monochrome sensor camera, right? Unless they're like Canon and Sony, they can do whatever they want with no consequence. They just, okay, we just sell this camera. Just make sure that we can recuperate the costs and that's it. We don't have to care about profit, right? Yeah. Nico says, my take, dedicated wildlife equipment is more expensive. OM knows that wildlife photographers are able to spend more on glass, so they cater to them. Maybe better margins too. But then, if you are the only one doing wildlife photography, that's fine. But you know what? I went to the bird race in Fraser's Hill recently, where there are photographers from Philippines, from Indonesia, from Taiwan, from Korea, from Japan, from Vietnam, from Taiwan, from China, from all over the world, who come to that particular bird race event. And there's a photography competition for that 2 days. Guess what? There were also photography talks. Canon, Nikon, Sony, they were also talking about doing bird wildlife photography. Of course, OM system was there. And if that's true, then what makes you stand out? Everyone has amazing image stabilization by now. Everyone's lenses and cameras are not that large. Yeah, Micro Four Thirds is still smaller, but people will say, but if I use this slightly larger lens, maybe it's 30% larger, it's not even twice the size, maybe 30% or 40% larger, I can use my 60 megapixels image sensor. I can crop more. And I have a full frame sensor that gives me better dynamic range and high ISO. Like I'm willing to sacrifice for the weight, right? I'm willing to take on the weight and the bulk to get more resolution and better image quality, right? So like, okay, I understand maybe OM systems say, okay, yeah, wildlife photographers are rich, they have money to spend, but then if they are truly rich, then they'll go to Sony, Canon, Nikon. Why would they want to go to OM system? Because we are now stuck at 20 megapixels and there's only so much you can do, right? Hiker says, would love to see an OM features in G9 Mark I type body. G9 has best ergonomics of any large Micro Four Thirds body, not just top plate, but better grip and buttons as well. I disagree. I use the G9, yes, it feels good, but EM1 Mark II, for me, beats G9 any day. And I think G9 is a bit too large. Yeah. Nico says, love the color of your shots, Robin. Thanks for sharing. Do you always use the same presets? What presets? I don't use presets. There's no such thing as presets. Like when I edit my photographs, I just tweak, I just straighten, crop a little bit if necessary, recover some details in highlight and shadow, and that's it. I don't even touch the white balance or colors. There's no such thing as, like, I don't understand, like, almost every single photographer or content creator or YouTuber will sell their presets. I'm like, why would anyone want to buy the presets? It makes no sense. I look at my images, the colors are fine, right? Like, why would you want to change the color? The colors are so good already. And I was complaining about Sony's colors just now. And that just makes no sense. Your camera's job is supposed to give you good colors. If you're not happy with your camera's colors, then maybe you should change cameras. Not slapping on some presets, right? I don't understand. People just buy presets and they think that it'll magically make your photographs better. No, I don't use presets. I think that's just a scam. Hacker says, I abandoned Lumix when they used the cheaper, less ergonomic S5 body for the G9 II model compared to OM1 Mark 1. Great camera for landscape, wildlife, and macro. Alright, if you love it, you love it. Captain says, so many captains tonight. Captain says, any issues of vignette on your copy of the TT Artisans? There's something very pleasing about the images it produces. No, I did not see any vignetting at all. Interesting. Ethan says, even though we haven't seen a massive increase in sales for OM with the new OM3, it seems that it has been a success so far. I'm hoping there was a nice profit for each camera sold in at $2,000. Yeah, I do hope they recover financially. I hope that they can make some profit this year, or at least break even, because I do want Micro Four Thirds to succeed. And there are only two players, right? Panasonic is like half in. They are currently focusing more on full frame, so I'm not betting on Panasonic. The only one that is fully committed to Micro Four Thirds is OM Digital Solutions, so I really hope they do well. Yeah. Vabagomoga says, I also prefer the tilt screen for street photography than a fully articulated screen, especially when there is a crowd. Yeah, you just have to tilt and shoot, right? So much faster and more efficient, right? I agree. Yeah. Anya says, hey Robin, thank you for this live streams. Very useful tips I could not afford to miss. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Mark says, I love my fake Leica Panasonic lenses. Total 60, 100 to 400. The Panasonic lenses are great. I'm not complaining about Panasonic lenses. But to call them Leica is like an insult to Leica itself. If you are a true Leica fan, you will know. If you've used Leica lenses, you will know that those Panasonic lenses are not Leica lenses. But the Panasonic lenses, they are Micro Four Thirds lenses. They are great. Excellent lenses, no problem whatsoever. I have several Panasonic lenses. I have the 15 f1.7 Panasonic. You're seeing me through that. I mean, this stream looks good, right? I also use Panasonic 9 f1.7, which is my wide angle default lens now for my jobs. I also have Panasonic 12 to 32, Panasonic 100. No, not 100. Was it the... What was that? Dang. 14 to 140. I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out. I just solved the 20 f1.7 because I have no love for that lens. Roger says, Robin, does any camera maker have a combined flip screen and articulate screen? Not up on the tech out there. I think there is, right? Something similar, something that Fuji is doing. Fuji or Sony, they are doing this, right? Like the three-way, three-axis kind of screen, which is very weird. I think it's just a service repair nightmare because you have so many degrees of movement. It just causes more waves for the screen or the hinges to fail, right? Yeah. EM5 Mark II the best? Okay, if that's what you think. Ho says, Artisan 27 should have interesting rendering. Yeah, it has certain flaws to it, like the bokeh is a bit harsh. It has those swirling bokeh effect. It's not like perfectly sharp, so it has a distorted look to it. So of course, it makes it a little bit more unique. It has character to it, right? Kanjo says, hey Robin, why English is so good? I don't think my English is that good though. Like my English teacher would write me a long list of maybe a few pages of my mistakes or the errors that I make. But I went to Australia to get my engineering degree. So yeah, maybe that can answer your question. Thomas says, the spinning wheel, jog wheel like Canon has on a DSLR is amazing. It lasted about 10 years before it started to go weird. Not on smaller bodies. I think there's something about bigger wheel that is more durable, but the tiny wheels, especially on Olympus cameras, they have it on like EP1, EP2, right? I think EP2, those spinning wheel of death, that's not that durable, yeah. There's a problem with making things smaller, right? Vic says, I love my EMA X. Of course, if you love it, right? Nothing wrong with it. Ethan says, some things I would like to see a TG Tough product that uses a Micro Four Thirds sensor. I don't think that's going to happen because the TG Tough camera is still selling so well. Why would they want to make a camera that costs more and make it even more difficult for them to manufacture. The TG cameras are still flying off the shelves now, so I know it's a wish list that you're asking for, but I don't think they're gonna make it, and this is just gonna cost too much R&D money or manufacturing to just create it. Red says Olympus should release the Gesh 8. Okay, I thought that's Panasonic's territory. Thomas says, convenience trumps all. It's the reason why smartphones wipe out point and shoot cameras. 12-100 dominates for this reason. Also why Canon 24-105 f4 is such a popular lens. I agree. It's always, and the fact that Olympus 12-100 doubles the reach of the Canon 24-105 says a lot, right? And even in a smaller size. Yeah. Cinema camera, I just mentioned that Olympus or OM system never had any expertise when it comes to making video-centric products. They never had cinema stuff. Mugilan says, X might have been bad, but not so bad now, especially in the used market when I paid 3,000 for almost a new one. Bang for the buck. But don't you feel like it's, I don't know, when I use it for a while, my wrist feels like it's almost breaking off. Maybe you are stronger than me, Mugilan. You have like I don't know. I just can't handle it. Red says, what if Olympus dropped a new super advanced film camera out of nowhere? They gave up on film. That's the realistic thing, right? Hear me out. A film camera with a swap ball back, like the one like a camera that could shoot 25, uses old lens. Okay, but then again, I think what happens now is that OM Digital Solutions is distancing themselves from the Olympus brand. So I don't think they want to use back the old Olympus film cameras, or they don't want to have anything much to do with that legacy. And I don't think it's the wrong move as well, because when I think of Olympus, I think of that sting of betrayal. Olympus turned its back to its loyal customers or loyal fan base, right? Olympus has been the brand for more than 100 years, a century, and they just suddenly decided to stop making imaging products and say, okay, we give up on making cameras. And that betrayal, that sting, yeah, every time you think of Olympus, it's there. It's associated with their brand. So I don't blame OM System trying to move away from that brand. They want to start fresh. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So going back to this older Olympus lenses, I don't think it's a great idea. Jared says they could sell the new pan camera with electronic viewfinder included in the box. Maybe those they haven't sold, people learn to use. No. Here's the thing, right? Like when I give you a camera, most people just use that camera. When there's something else to attach, except lenses. Lenses people will still find the trouble to attach. But when there's other things to attach, either they put it on once or they never put it on ever again. You just give it to them and they'll never use it. You get what I mean? Yeah. Thomas says, would be nice to get a 6 or 7 f2 lens with autofocus. I agree. Because Laowa made a 6mm f2 lens, right? That's a manual lens with no autofocus. If they can make a manual lens, I'm sure an autofocus lens can be made. A Panasonic 9 f1.7 is great, but not really wide enough to get a really dramatic wide angle. I don't need a dramatic wide angle. I just need the lens to be wide enough to fit what I need to fit for my jobs. And I don't want too wide of a scene, which will be, it will just exaggerate all the distortion, the perspective distortion, which the clients may not be too happy with. So I think 9 for now is just perfect. 8 will be amazing. I think 8 will be amazing. 9, yeah, I understand sometimes it's not wide enough. Chuck says, Sigma must be doing very well. I don't think they were thinking that the BF would be a big seller. But Sigma is doing so well. Of course they're doing well. They're selling lenses to everyone. They're making lenses for Canon, Sony, Nikon, Fuji, Olympus, Panasonic, not so much on the Micro Four Thirds, but they are selling to all the big brands. Canon and Nikon users are spending big monies on Sigma lenses. They have big long lenses as well. Of course they are doing well. The great Vanzini says, I still use my Canon M6 Mark II with external viewfinder, the size of a Pan F roughly. All right, that's great. Thomas says, Olympus does tend to make images more cold versus Canon where the images is a bit more warm, but indoors Olympus nails the white balance whereas Canon light photos got pissed on. You mean the auto white balance, right? Yeah. Generally, I like Canon colors though, especially shooting portraits, shooting pictures of people. I think they nailed the color science for skin. Somehow, Canon got it right. Yeah. Quad Mitrash says, OM3 looks more like a vintage Minolta than a vintage Olympus. Anything vintage will sell. I don't think they care, right? Yeah. Brian says, I'm with you on presets, Robbie. I don't use them either, especially ones with emulate old film. Why make my photos look like film which didn't have accurate colors in the first place? Yeah. I think people just want that nostalgia effect or the feeling of nostalgia that they never had. They just say, oh, my photos look like film. It's so cool, right? But the fact that film, like as you've mentioned already, film brings a lot of imperfections and bring a lot of problems to the image, which we try to overcome, and digital has successfully overcome most of the problems during the film era. And I think for me, I want to move forward. I want my images to look as natural as possible. I don't care about all these imperfections like film grain or color shift or light leaks, all these effects, or I don't really care about those, right? Yeah. Mugila says, exactly, why the need for presets when your camera has the best color science and JPEG editing features? Presets are creativity killers. But hey, having said that, if you love it, go for it, right? Who am I to tell you what to do? I understand some people, they live and die by presets. Without the presets, they cannot function, right? Well, if it's so important to you, then by all means, there's no right and wrong in these matters of photography, right? It's all about personal preference, and if you want it, do it, right? Yeah. Captain says, OM3 H1 viewfinder is 2.34 megapixels. Let's assume 16-bit per channel. OM3 at 60 frames per second. That's 3.5 USB-C has pogo connection, can work. Okay. Of course USB-C can work, but the fact is, to make that an external attachment, nobody buys them. If nobody buys them, why would they make it? You get what I mean? And it has been proven that nobody buys them. It's a fact, right? Then why do you want to deliberately lose money making all these external attachments? That's the issue, right? Yeah. Mugilan says, any news on the all black OM3? The silver one is too flashy for discreet shooting. Oh my goodness. I don't know. It seems like at this point there's no news at all. There's no news at all. Ethan says, I'd like to make a donation. Can it be done through PayPal? Yes, it can. Links, you can click on the links below. PayPal is definitely better. Are you donating to me or donating to Ben? If it's to Ben, then it has to be through the GoFundMe page, I think, or maybe you can contact Ben directly if he has a PayPal. But if it's to me, yes, I have a PayPal link down in the description below. Yeah. Ethan, I would advise against sending anything to me, because if it's from outside of the country, there is a gift tax involved, and sometimes the gift tax is more, it costs more than the product itself. Like for example, I'll send the OM1, right? I have to pay, how much was it? $300, $300 or $400 for that. I know the OM1 is a gift. I understand, but they have to pay on top of that a sum of money which I could have used for other things. You get what I mean? And it's like, I'm not saying that I'm not grateful for the OM1. I'm grateful that someone sent me the gift. If you're not aware, my OM1 was a gift from US. Someone sent it to me, so thank you so much for that person. But I had to spend, like, on top of everything, I have to spend $400, and it hurts because $400 is like someone's 2 months' salary in Malaysia. So so maybe not. I'll avoid having those gifts if possible. Yeah. Thomas says, Jamie Wince's Kodak portrait film preset is amazing. The only film preset that actually looks great. Nah. Why would I want my images to look like film? I don't get it. Like, yeah, they don't care about donation or not. It's like, as long as it's a gift from someone, it's taxable, and I have to pay before receiving it, or they'll hold it and I won't receive it, and they'll send it back. Or not even sure if they'll send it back to you, right? Or they just take it, which is even worse. Yeah, Yumi says, OM5 Mark II titanium or OM3 titanium, they will sell it if they make them. My money is ready. They had the EM5 Mark II titanium, right, back then, but it's just a paint job. It does peel off over time. So yeah. All right, I've called the comment. Let's share the remaining set of photographs. Before that, let's drink some water to stay hydrated. And then, yeah, and whatever remaining coffee there is in the cup. Ooh, the temperature still 28 degrees. It hasn't dropped that much since the last time I checked. But it's a lot though. It's 2 degrees colder than previous streams. It was 29, 30 degrees. So 28, although it's like only 1 or 2 degrees cooler, it's a lot cooler than before. Okay, let's go to the photographs. This was in Malacca, the same set of photographs I've taken with this TT Artisan 27 f2.8 lens on the Sony A9S6. And I just put all the food photographs together. This is mee sua, or thin thread noodle, which is perfect for breakfast. It's another variant of pork noodles, but it's a noodle soup, and it's just so nice for breakfast because the noodles is softer. It's not chewy, or it's not al dente. It's a softer. It melts in your mouth. It's just so much easier for breakfast. It's like porridge of noodles, if you ask me. Toast with coffee. This is like a standard breakfast for all Malaysians. Kaya butter toast. Kaya is coconut jam with butter, toast on the bread, of course, and some coffee, hot coffee to go with it. It's just to wake up, right? You need some caffeine to wake up. Yeah, it's another type of noodles. I don't remember what noodles this is. Though it's in Malacca. Yeah, it's the thick yellow noodle with pork strips, or is it beef strips? I think it's beef strips. So maybe it's dry beef noodle. Right. Popiah or spring rolls. Oh, this is so good. This is the one in Malacca. This is so good. I miss eating this. It's so good. I can just eat this for lunch. It's so thick. The filling is really amazing. It has pork lard inside. It's just so amazing. Yeah. And this is the dumpling, or zhang. Bat zhang, nyonya zhang. And the blue color is natural. It's not artificial food coloring. It's natural coloring derived from a type of flour. So yeah, which is amazing, and it tastes so amazing. Bat zhang. So the filling is again minced pork, and the outer layer is wrapped. So the minced pork is stuffed inside the outer layer of glutinous rice, and it's cooked in a banana leaf, which is amazing. Iced coffee, some overpriced hipster coffee. Of course, Malacca has this very nice coffee culture. It's picking up. Some hipster pancake. I can't remember what pancake this was. I think it's pandan pancake or banana pancake. Drizzled with too much sugar, powdery sugar, but it is so good. Yeah. And chicken rice bowls. Oh, I love chicken rice. And Malacca chicken rice bowls is so amazing. They just shape the bowls, the rice into bowls. These are rice bowls. And eat it with the chili and the chicken. It's just such a hearty meal. It's so good. You go Malacca for this. And finally, another cup of overpriced coffee before we go off on the road. Trip back to KL. So yeah, that's it. Those are the photographs that I have to share. 2 sets, 1 street photographs, 1 series of food photographs. Let's get to the chat, and then after that we will call it a night. Andrew says, first skolomi, then mee sua. Robin, I can't sleep looking for snacks. That's how I got this big, right? With all the food that I've consumed. Else I'll be a lot slimmer. Captain says, if OM system and Panasonic have a hot shoe connector with USB-C, other companies will make the accessories. No. Other people will only make accessories for Micro Four Thirds if Micro Four Thirds camera can sell. Currently, they are in less than 5% in the market share. That's the reason why, companies like TT Artisan, 7 Artisan, and all these Vutrox, they don't make autofocus lenses for Micro Four Thirds because Micro Four Thirds is not selling well. If you don't sell enough cameras, why do we want to make accessories? The accessories will not sell if you don't have enough camera sales. So it's a chicken and egg thing, right? Yeah. Linda says, Panasonic electronic viewfinders are expensive too. Yeah. You can't make cheap electronic viewfinders. That's just a fact, right? Electronic viewfinders is not just the display. You have lenses, very complex lenses as well. Think of it as buying a small lens. A small lens that is so complex in design with an electronic display, which is very high resolution. So there's no way to make it cheap, no matter how you look at it. Yeah. Terry says, hi from scorching Southeast UK. How scorching is scorching? I'm curious. Thomas says, I keep hearing Malacca, but in Greek it means something very different. Yeah, Malacca is Malacca, right? Mee sua, yes, mee sua is so good. Pete says, wow, this food's making me hungry. It's making me hungry too. I'm definitely going to eat something after this. Subash says, they just need to update the pen line with face detect, USB-C, and microphone input. I agree. And I think it makes more sense now. We need a smaller camera, compact size camera that you can easily bring out, not just for street photography or travel, for vlogging as well. I think that's missing from the OM system lineup. Pete says, I'm starving now. Nico says, food photography is tough. I can never get the right angle and depth of field. I'm hungry now, thanks. I'm making everyone hungry. You can all get some snacks. Yeah. And that's the purpose of food photographs, right? A good food photograph should make you feel something, should make you feel hungry, right? And I don't think it's... coming back to Nico's comment, the angle, there's always if it's relatively a flat food, like a plate or a bowl, you can do like a top angle or a 45 degrees angle. That's my go-to angle. There are other more creative angles, of course, but I always go for like 45 degrees and top down. Top down, you can use the flip screen. You don't have to stand up. Another reason why flip screen is useful. And for depth of field, normally for Micro Four Thirds, if I want to see everything clear, f8. F8 is more than sufficient, but if I want to see like a little bit of separation, maybe between f2.8 and f5.6, you gotta play around a little bit. Generally, a full plate from a distance, f4, f5.6 is enough. f8 confirm everything will be sharp. But if you go nearer, like you want to close up, that's where things get a little bit tricky. You gotta be more careful. But other than that, like, because I like to see the entire plate. Like most of my shots, you don't see really close up creative shots. Like you see the whole cup. You can see the whole plate. You can see the whole plate again. You know, then it's top down. Okay, of course, I want blur in the background for the coffee shots, right? Like here, you can see it almost the whole plate. So not so much of close-up shots. So depth of field is not really a problem here. We have a super chat. Oh, thank you so much, Vanzini. I appreciate that. Always great photos. I share as much as I can. You'll see all these photos again on next Monday's video, because the video I'm talking about why I love this TT Artisan 27 f2.8 and why we need more of this lens. Thanks for the support. I appreciate that. Pete says, I think we need to go to Robin's house for tea. Feel free to drop by. 34 degrees, Terry. Wow, that's like... No, it's not chilly for me. Malaysia, 34 is hot. So daytime, 34 is hot. That's like the hottest we get, 34, 35. If it's below that, 30, 32 is fine. It's bearable. But 34 is hot. It's really hot. Mugilan says, good job making me starve at 12, Robbie. To the mama. Yes, mama to the rescue, right? That's why I think Malaysia has an obesity problem because of this. Food is too accessible at any time. We have like 24 hours eateries open. We can just walk down the road and there's something for us to just order and eat, and they're not too expensive as well. Yeah, I've been putting on weight in Mugilan. Captain says, it's not only electronic viewfinders, when we're connected, would enable to use a smartphone or tablet to be used without delay of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connection gives. Think of a tethered audio studio setup. But then I wouldn't attach a tablet or smartphone on my camera. It just makes it very cumbersome. It just doesn't work. You get what I mean? It's like I want a device by itself and maybe a small attachment that's fine, but anything bigger than is necessary is just very, very... Like I have put on external monitors on cameras before to record the HDMI feed so that you can see my electronic viewfinder. It was horrible to work with. Horrible. Like, I wish I don't have to do that, but I just put up with it because I want to show you what's through my viewfinder, right? So, yeah. Nico says, thanks for the tips, very helpful. No worries, I share as much as I can. And Nico says, I need to get lunch. Gonna go for ramen. Ramen is a good choice. With that, I think let's call it a night. It's been 2 hours on the stream, and I think we've all shared everything that we want to share about what the camera we wish OM system would make next, right? Whether it's a pan camera or EM10. I think most people, 90% of the people here would want the pan camera to work. I think before I close the stream, let me remind everyone to support Ben. Ben definitely needs the support. Benjamin Chappell, he's an amazing content creator, YouTuber, he's an astrophotographer, and he's shared a lot of Micro Four Thirds content, Olympus and OM System products as well on his channel. And he's battling stage 4 cancer now. He's not doing too well, and the wife has set up a GoFundMe page. Go to his video here to find out about his latest update on his current condition. And there's a link to support him there. So if you can, please donate to Ben. Instead of donating to me this time, please contribute to Ben. He needs your support. We all know how battling cancer is. It's not easy. And of course, if you can't, don't worry. I understand we all come from different financial backgrounds. Sometimes I understand some of us are struggling. We don't have excess cash. But hey, the least you can do is go there, give him some words of encouragement, say some nice things. And sometimes these words, they can go a long way. It does matter. These words, these positive remarks, these encouraging words that you put there, it can help him to fight. trust me, it can. It means a lot to him. So go there, do whatever you can. He needs your support, right? With that, thank you so much for staying with me. A reminder to everyone, there's no live stream next week. I will disappear for 2 weeks. I'll come back the week after. There'll be the live stream the week after next. For next week, there'll be 2 new videos, Monday and Thursday. And there's a special announcement on Tuesday. So please look forward for that announcement. Until then, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.